2019 M5 competition has almost 620 horsepower when it's in good shape, or should I say working condition, but that isn't the case for this one. And I'm not talking about that little ding on the rear door, but it's actually for something that is missing here at the front of the engine. In this video, the plan is to actually strip the engine apart, fix the little door a little bit, and then come to a conclusion on how we are going to progress on this crazy project of the channel, because I never had something this scale in the channel before. It's still a bit uncertain what we are going to find, because as the auctions websites are listed on the ads that this engine has been swapped, so what I'm thinking is somebody crashed the car just before sending it back to the auction store, the car to be sold off. They changed the engine, swapped the engine with another car and put this dirt engine in. And that was the reason why we were able to buy the car so cheap, which was a good thing actually in my opinion, because we can work on the engines. But without further ado, let's first see what's in here, what is not. There's boxes and boxes of parts inside of the car. Even some rods and pistons are actually inside. There was not something I was thinking I would be finding inside of the car, but without further ado, let's pop the bonnet open and see what's being left in there. Okay, so I can see some people saying like, oh Daniel, you're stupid. You bought a crash damaged car with a blown engine in it. And yes, I did. But I'd much rather do that than paying. Look, I could buy $150,000 for one of these cars. This is how much they go for in Australia. I'm not going to do that, because I'd much rather pay. You know how much I pay for this car? Well, I'm not going to tell you. Stick around. I'll tell you at the end of the video. But my point is, it's the journey between getting the car, getting it fixed, making videos for you guys, and finally having the thing back together. At the end of the day, at this day and age, everything seems to be very disposable. So people get an engine seized and they go, oh, that's it, junk, get rid of it, put a new one in. I don't like that approach, okay? Unless this engine has a hole in the block, which I don't think is the case, it's going to be fixable. And well, let's fix it. Let's make videos and show other people so they can fix their cars, which is the best thing, and enjoy the journey along it. So back to the car. This is the engine, and this is how complete or how incomplete the engine is. I could see some photos on the website from where I bought the cars from. I'm gonna be very honest, I didn't expect it to be like this. In fact, the crankshaft, wait, hold on, where is, oh, the crankshaft is missing. Nah, it's not missing, it's just in the back seats. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's being disconnected, so it seems like the person who actually engine swapped this car didn't even take the time to properly put things back together, which was pretty obvious. So the person actually at the auctions website, they pop the hood open and say, well, I can see there's a bunch of stuff missing. That's why they listed the car as an engine swap and partial strip. But there's a lot. Let's have a look what's inside of the car. Well, that's the little ding on the door. Yeah, the airbag's blown off. The front door is going to have to be replaced because obviously got a bit of damage as well. We got a little bit of parts in here. Oh, what's that? Con rods. I got two con rods. Those are the crank caps. Yeah, this is what I wasn't expecting to find in here, but nevertheless, it's a beautiful car. All right, it's perfect inside. It's got a few. Oh, let's see if we can. This door doesn't open properly, but look. Oh, there's the crankshaft right there, and there's a bunch of parts in the trunk. Let's go and pop the trunk open. See, that's a bunch of parts actually in here. And again, not my main concern, but one of my concerns was actually the ECUs and the keys. I ended up finding the key and I ended up finding both of the ECUs. They're good. There's like most of the hoses. Look. Almost everything that I wanted, it's here. There are a couple of things that are not here, which is number one, the exhaust. The whole exhaust is missing. We just have not the downpipes, we just have the two cat converters. We're going to be using downpipes anyway. So we're going to have to put two new doors in it. We have replaced the wheels because, as you could see from the previous photos, this wheel was damaged, the other one was in bad shape, 3 of the tires were slashed. We got a really good deal on these wheels, so we just bought a new set of wheels. The strut from here is missing. The other one from here is missing, and the flywheel. I dug under the car, I had a look underneath, and I could see the flywheel is missing. But without further ado, what I want to do today is let's get this engine out. I'm going to start to open it up and see what we're going to find. So I know that two of the pistons are inside of the car. They have bent connecting rods, but I'm excited. Let's get this engine out and get the tools out and start the work. Okay guys, and there we have the engine out. Now, it was a lot easier to do because obviously there was a bunch of stuff that being removed before. As I suspected, the flywheel isn't really here, so the torque converter bolts were already being undone, which makes it a lot easier for us to actually get the engine out of the gearbox. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this engine upside down, remove the sump, because I want to see what's inside. I can see some of the connecting rods and some of the pistons are there. I'm not 100% sure how they are going to be. I'm guessing that the two worst ones are the ones that are inside of the car. But I need to know if the oil pump is in there. And if I can see any damage like from just removing the sump lid. And then we're gonna go through the actual dismantling of the whole engine. So for now, let's get the front diff out. Engine brackets, and flip this thing apart because I want to see what's inside. First impressions. Ooh. Gunky, very, very gunky. Now I don't know if this stuff got here after. Look, I don't know. Someone has removed the pistons. It looks like someone have removed two pistons and two rods. Maybe they left these in the weather. God knows. Let's keep stripping and see what we're gonna find. Okay, this is how a hydro-locked engine with two missing pistons look like. Piston number 1 and piston number 8. Those were the two that hydro-locked. Now, look how much gunk inside of this engine. Are we gonna be able to save it? I don't know. Okay, chop chop, let's wrap it up. What have we found over the last few days? I'm not gonna lie, it's been about 3 or 4 days since we put the engine apart, and I used this time to actually research a little bit more about the car and try to understand what was going on, because again, I knew this engine wasn't good, I just wasn't expecting to find a crankshaft on the back seat. Why did it happen? Well, because this car has been through the auction a couple of times. It's been through the auction, I think, in about February or March. It's sold to someone who then bought the car, pinched the engine, put this that engine in it, and then sent the car back to New South Wales because it was sold in Queensland. So I believe the person who swapped the engine was in Queensland. That's where the car sold initially. And then someone else bought the car here in Sydney or in New South Wales, thinking the car just had the crash, the problem with the rear door, and then they realized the engine was seized. So they then put the engine apart, tried to fix it, and they found themselves in this bit of a nightmare, which I really love it, not gonna lie to you. And they thought, well, that's too much for me, I'm just gonna offload this car and send it back to the auctions. Now, I really want to say thanks to whoever's done it, because they nicely packed everything and put it in the back of the car. When I bought the car initially, I saw there was a couple of things missing, but I didn't really think of everything that could be missing. And honestly, the amount of parts that were inside of the car, it was just amazing. But cut the story short, I came along, I saw the car, I bought it, and that is the reason why the crankshafts and some pistons were sitting in the back seats. This is actually the piston that we found inside. The engine has definitely hydrolocked, and it did so with salt water. How do I know that? Well, because of the amount of corrosion. If you see on the piston, on the intake, on the engine heads, there is a lot of corrosion, and same thing with the block. Now, if you have clean water sitting in the block, it's not going to do much, because at the end of the day, this is aluminium, so it's not going to be a big deal. But it was salty water, so it has corroded the block. It had put some scratch on some of the cylinders. If you doubt what happened, like this is the bench rod. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. What happened? This is a normal rod, this is a straight rod, and this is a bench rod. And what happened is, once the rod gets bent, the piston get offset a little bit and it starts to touch the crankshafts. That's the reason why we have these marks in here, because the piston was hitting the crankshafts. I don't know how long the engine run, or if it ever run after it hydrolocks, but cut the story short is, most people would say that this block is garbage. Is not. That's the perfect thing that I like, because we send it off to the machine shop, we're going to get the block sleeved up. And with the cast iron sleeve, this block becomes a lot stronger. That is the plan for the next couple of weeks or maybe months, I'm not sure. But what's going to surprise you is, I decided to use the Chinese parts, the King Tech parts that we use in one of our last projects, and I'm going to use the King Tech parts on this car. Not gonna lie to you, I'm aiming for about 1,000 horsepower for this engine, but I want to be a little bit conservative, so I'm gonna say 800 to 850. If we achieve that, I'm good. Nevertheless, this goes off to the machine shop. Yeah, how much I pay for the car? I know, you probably don't want to know. Yeah, no. Okay, how much did I pay for the car? Well, first of all, this is a 2019 M5 competition. They go here in Australia for between 130 to 150,000 Australian dollars. I know in US it's much cheaper. I think they go for about 60 or 70 grand. Well, I'm in Australia. Even though it's a written off car, they still go for about 50 grand at the auction. So when I saw that the engine had been replaced, I thought that is the best opportunity I have to buy one of these cars, because even if I had bought one with a working engine, I would have put a thing apart anyway to put good pistons and rods and anywhere to tune the crap out of it. Nevertheless, I thought this is going to go for less than 30k, and I actually won this car for $15,000 on the bid plus the auction fee, so it ended up costing me $17,000 out the door. I pick it up. Here's the forklifts bringing the car to us. It loaded onto my trailer. Yeah, here is me, happy, just coming back to the workshop with a F90 M5 competition, which is a car I always dreamed of. Never thought I was going to be able to afford one like this cheap. Like, It's not that I cannot afford one, it just wouldn't make sense for me to dump $150,000 into one of these cars. But if we're talking 20, 30, 40 grand, well, why not? But yeah, I think that's it for today. Nevertheless, this is going to be a good series. If you like what you've seen so far, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button and turn on the notifications so the next time I post a next video on this, you get notified and you watch it straight away. As always, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you guys next time.